Welcome, everyone, to episode number 58 of Talking Kentucky. My name is Coleman Scott, and his name is Caden Holmes. I'm here on a rainy day in Frankfort, Kentucky, and Caden is in Hanson, Kentucky, and we're both back on the show after both of us kind of going on vacations within the past month or so. So we're back to normal here. Caden, how's it going?
It's going well. Yeah, you were out last week, and Morgan came on, did a really awesome job. You know, it amazes me, and when we do the show too, like some of the topics that get brought up. I mean, we started with talking about National Kissing Day, which Morgan seemed to enjoy, and then we talked about the Zion sex tape. So it was just one thing after another. I just didn't expect.
I bet you weren't expecting that last one for sure. That's something that I definitely wasn't expecting when I was listening back. But like genuinely, when I was listening back to the episode, I thought it was one of the best shows. Like Morgan's like a natural at this. Like we've definitely, it took us a while to get used to this. Like I think for most people, it's harder than it looks to do a podcast and to talk about something like when you have to talk about it and figure out the words that you need to say on the spot. But it just comes naturally to Morgan. I feel like it's not hard for him.
Yeah, with Morgan, you just throw a topic out there and he'll just take it and run with it, and he'll bring up stuff that you really don't expect. I didn't even know some of the stuff he brought up. So yeah, I always enjoy having him on the show.
I think one underrated thing there are a lot of things in that episode that are underrated that I enjoyed, but one of my favorite parts of that episode that I think you all kind of glossed over actually is the story you told about Tally-Ho, about Connor seeing the Harrison twins in Tally-Ho. Man, that's hilarious. That was funny.
Yeah, he said come here, just like he knew him his entire life, and then he told him in like a very professional manner, "I like what you're doing for this university."
Well, the thing is, like I can like hear Connor saying that. Like I just picture y'all just eating in Tally-Ho, calling Aaron Harrison over and being like, "Hey, Aaron, I really like what you're doing for the university."
Yeah, he was dead serious too. There was we were rolling laughing, but Connor was dead serious.
I would have been too. And the thing is, that's so Connor, like for him to do that, like that's just gold. Like I can just picture that whole scene in my brain. That's awesome. So had you told that story on here before? I don't know if you had or not.
I think I mentioned it once or twice, but I didn't really go into depth like I did last week. So thought I'd throw that one out there. Just popped in my mind last week, so I thought I'd share.
And it took some time, I think, last week for whatever reason for some commenters to show up, but we've got our regulars here right off the bat. We got Clyde Hare in here who says he's at South Lex Baseball Park. Which what are you doing there, Clyde? Are you watching some fellow baseball players play, or are you playing, or what's going on there? And then Josh is in the comments. Yeah, that's right. It is. And Josh said he's here, and what's up? So nice to see you guys in the comments down there. And Claude says, once again, he's in Lexington, Kentucky, since we're naming locations. So, that's the place to be, Caden. I'm always looking for excuses to be in Lexington. That's for sure.
Yeah, you know what they say, all roads lead there. So that's true. True statement.
That is what they say. Last week you mentioned it was National Kissing Day this time last week. And today it's National Hugging Day, or as they call it on the website, Hug Holiday. And it's also National Handshake Day. So those are two, like a little bit more subtle greetings than kissing, maybe a little less forward.
But I'm glad we didn't go the other way around. Some things we probably couldn't have shared on the show. Yeah,
that's right. Those are ones that we can celebrate Hug Holiday and Handshake Day. Me and you. We couldn't celebrate kissing, but we can celebrate. You can celebrate the other one. It's National Work from Home Day today, which Caden, you probably celebrated that today.
Yeah, I've celebrated that for 6 months straight now. So
that's right. It's International Fisherman Day, so be like Jesus, be fishers of men today.
Coleman, do you like fishing? Do you like the sport of fishing?
I do, and when I do fish, I don't put like weights in my fish, like some people do apparently in these fishing competitions. But yeah, I like fishing. I'm not a big hunting guy. I've never been hunting, but I do like fishing. So
I forgot about the weights and the fish. I was talking to my dad and my brother after that. They're big time fishermen. They were saying that's like a common occurrence. People cheating by putting weights in their fish. That's so inhumane, man. That's terrible.
I mean, yeah, it's inhumane. It's like also like it's crazy how far people
Animal
go just to
cruelty.
win.
That crosses a bunch of boundaries there.
It's man. It's International Mud Day today. There's a lot of good holidays today. It's National Bacon Burnt End. I mean, I'm definitely a bacon fan. I don't know about bacon burnt ends. I don't know if I've ever had those specifically, but probably good. You ever had burnt ends?
I I probably have, but I can't really come up with any in specific occasions where I can name. But yeah, I'm sure have tried it before.
It is Kawhi Leonard's birthday. So happy birthday to Kawhi Leonard. He is a good basketball player. I got to see him play in person when I went to my first NBA game for the Clippers versus the Pelicans down in New Orleans.
Okay,
And
I was about to
I
ask
think,
where he's at now. I know he was a Spurs forever, and then so he's the Clippers now.
yeah, last time I checked, he's on the Clippers. I don't know. They're all moving around too much these days. I can't really keep up with them. But yeah, Kawhi is
Yeah.
on the Clippers.
Just like
Last I
college
checked.
basketball now with NIL.
That's right. It's no different. It's probably even worse in college basketball, to be honest. But no,
So.
he dropped like 40 something that game, and they still lost. I mean, like Kawhi, I think Kawhi and Russ Westbrook both dropped over 40, and they still lose, which is pretty crazy. But I hate to say it, but Brandon Ingram plays for the Pelicans. I mean, I know he's a Duke guy, but that dude can ball. That dude's good.
Yeah, I've heard good things about him. And that reminds me of our top 25 list last week. I don't know if he was on there, but it seemed like half that list was Dookies.
Yeah, we don't like the Dukies. And we'll close it out with this holiday. Yeah, I can't make this up. Today is the national feast day in the Catholic Church of St. Peter. So it's St. Peter's Day. Yeah. So you can't make this stuff up. So I try to avoid it, Caden. I try to avoid talking about St. Peter's, but it just keeps coming up on the show. It's St.
How's
Peter's
that
Day.
program doing these days?
I say the last good thing that they did was probably beat Kentucky in the tournament, and then they beat Purdue, so that was good too.
Yeah, didn't they lose their coach after that?
I think literally everybody on the team left and their coach. So I'd say they're not doing one hit wonder. Yeah, St. Peter's is a one hit wonder, but it is in fact St. Peter's Day. So just about everybody should know that. And speaking of baseball, and Claude being at the baseball park here, Josh says, congratulations to the LSU baseball team. Makes me feel better that we lost to the national champions. I wanted to bring that up. I have to root for my Cats when they're playing LSU. So in that series, I was obviously all Kentucky, but since they won the national championship, I'll take credit for that. I'll jump on the LSU bandwagon for that. And Caden, I think if we had beaten LSU, that means we would have gone all the way and been the champion. So we're pretty much national runners up, I think, aren't we?
Yeah, well, you're attending school there, and you've given the university some money, so you have every right to join the bandwagon. But yeah, I saw those scores. Didn't they get blown out? Was it Florida? They got blown out one game, then they come back and just blow them out of the water. I couldn't believe that. Is that like more common in baseball kind of thing? That's just more random like that?
I had never seen that before, but in fact, I saw this crazy stat earlier today. Well, one, Florida's baseball team in that series against LSU tied the record for the most runs ever in a men's college World Series game. And people were saying that looked like a football score. So check this out. Florida scored more points in that baseball game, 24 points, on LSU than they had in 43 of their 66 games all time versus LSU in football. So in that baseball game, they scored.
Yeah.
Man,
I think there's basketball games where
that's,
teams don't even get to 24 sometimes. So that's pretty good.
yeah. Yeah, I'm a Gator hater, Josh. Josh says, so glad the Gators didn't win it. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I hope LSU was chomping at them, doing the Gator chomp when they won.
That's what we do when we win. After Joakim Noah trying to steal the pom-pom from the cheerleader and stuff. Man.
That guy.
I was thinking of him today. I was thinking of like just some old players that I like disliked earlier today. I don't know why I was thinking about that, but I just was. And like Joakim Noah was one of those guys. Devin Downey at South Carolina. Just like all those guys that like just used to annoy me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, who's that annoying guy that went to Ole Miss? The annoying white guy that hit everything.
I feel like they've had a lot of those. But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I can picture him. I just can't think of what his name was.
That doesn't really narrow it down. You said the annoying white guy from Ole Miss. That doesn't narrow it down too much.
Usually Ole Miss doesn't have anyone that's good, but he was good. But he was annoyingly good.
Yeah. Yeah. Kid from Tennessee that was there forever. What's his face? The dude
Fulkerson.
that was just there. Fulkerson. Yeah.
Folky.
He kind of looks like Morgan. Yeah, Folky. There we go.
The incredible Folk.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that guy. But we do, and Josh says that football's killing it in recruiting. We're definitely, and you all got into some of that on your show, and we're going to get into some of that tonight here too. That's on my list of topics here. And you all talked about how awesome Mark Stoops is in the community too. Morgan talked about his like mother-in-law works at the hospital or whatever, and
Morgan being married to a UK swimmer, he's got all the.
He's got all the connections.
He
sounds like he just walked in there and got a Mark Stoops football like sign, like no problem. It's like Morgan needs a football signed by Mark Stoops. It's like, all right, well let's get it to him, you know.
Yeah, I'm cousins with the strength and conditioning coach, but Morgan knows more than I do.
He does. He knows a lot. Well, let's see if I can. What do we want to start with here? Pull up some stuff here. Well, I guess we can talk about the NBA draft results first of all. Cason Wallace gets drafted. No shocker. He got drafted by the Mavericks, I believe, but he got traded to the Thunder. Caden, you think that's going to be a good spot for him?
Well, like we talked about, all those players getting traded 24/7. I really can't tell you many players that's on the Thunder right now, but did he go 7th overall? Is that what I saw?
I know it was top 10. It may have been
that kind of shocked me. He went a lot higher than I thought he was going to go. So good for him. Sure, he got a pay increase with that too.
I'm kind of shocked that. Well, I'm not shocked, but
Clyde says 10th. You're right.
Okay, yeah, I don't know why I didn't watch like a second of the draft, so I don't know why I knew that, but maybe I think
the draft was happening as we did the show last week, so I didn't see it either. But
that's right. I was kind of shocked that Livingston got drafted, and it just makes me think that, especially since he's picked last, that like Clutch had a big role in him getting drafted. I don't think he otherwise would have. And then of course, so he went to, who was it that he got? I think it was the Bucks, right? That drafted him. That drafted Livingston.
Yeah, we talked about on the show that I was shocked that two teams had to forfeit their picks, so he went last at 58th. I guess that's a common occurrence, but I had no clue that that's even happened before.
Yeah. I heard you all talk about that too, and I actually didn't know that. That seems kind of strange, but it was like a punishment thing that happened, right? It wasn't just because they wanted to forfeit their picks. It was like they had to as part of punishment or something.
I think so. Yeah, I think they had to. But I was thinking back. So he went 58th, and I was thinking back to successful NBA players who were picked later in the draft. The first person I think of is Manu Ginobili. He was picked super late, but ended up having a huge impact. Can you think of anyone else off the top of your mind?
That's a name from the past.
Man, he was good. He was solid.
That's a
He
name
had
from the
that Euro
past,
step.
Ginobili.
He's that lefty. He knocked down everything.
I think of like NBA 2K10 when I think of Ginobili. Like for whatever reason, yeah.
Yeah, back then I played 2K nonstop, so I knew where literally every player was at. But I guess these days I don't play 2K anymore, so that's why I don't know my NBA rosters. I bet Clyde plays 2K. That's probably how he knows all that stuff about NBA.
Need to get a Talkin Kentucky 2K Xbox Live tournament going. Clyde he'd probably kill us at that. Yeah. It was so hard in 2K to play defense. Like I feel like I was like trying to play defense on ice when I was playing defense in 2K.
Especially the more games have gone by, the harder defense has gone. And Clyde confirmed our suspicions. He does play 2K.
He does play 2K. My player
I used to be pretty good, but my player is very difficult. I just don't like how these days my player is completely different. Or I say these days. The last time I played 2K was like a year or two ago, but it's way different than how it used to be. And in video games in general, I don't know how much of a gamer you are these days, but games are just not what they used to be, in my opinion. Just my opinion.
No, nothing's like they used to be. That's for sure.
The wise words of Noah, I miss the old America.
That's right. It probably didn't help when I was doing my player that I made my player like literally my same height and weight and everything. So I'd be like standing next to Shaquille O'Neal and I would look like I was actually standing next to the Shaquille O'Neal. So
you were probably the 58th pick in the draft.
Yeah, actually, there was one NBA 2K game that like literally had the G League on it. So if you could like not get drafted and go to the G League. So yeah, I went to the G League. I guess it was called the D League then. I played for the Sioux Falls Skyforce.
Sioux Falls Skyforce. Well, that's a new one. I think my favorite thing to do was to play those initial games and just see how high I could get picked. Some of those games, I swear, they made it impossible to get picked number one. But, anyways,
yeah. Anyway, that's a tangent. But and then I think it's Toppin signed with the Knicks, right? And then Sheboy signed with the Pacers, I think.
Yeah, I know Sheboy did sign with the Pacers. I'm not sure about Toppin. What do you think about Oscar in Indiana?
Well, and wise words of Morgan, I think it's lame. Yeah, I think the Pacers are the lamest NBA team. I don't really have a reason for that, but we were in the group text with Morgan the other day, and Caden said Oscar got picked up by the Pacers, and Morgan had just a one-word response. He said lame. And that's my take on that. Yeah, I feel like the Pacers are. I just forget they exist.
It is Indiana, but I guess we got to try not to hold that against him now.
That's true. Well, a couple episodes ago, we brought up how when Corey Price came on our show, he brought up a topic at the end of the show about this whole thing of having a last name for a first name. Since my name is Coleman Scott, I kind of have a backwards name in that sense. And he was like, let's try to think of other people that have like famous people that have first names for last names and last names for first names, that kind of thing. And then a couple days later, Corey was listening to KSR live. We were not. I'm usually a podcast listener. And he said, "Hey, are you guys listening to KSR live right now?" And we're like, "No, we're not. Should we be?" And Corey said, "Matt literally brought up the exact same topic that I brought up on your all show on KSR." So, we sort of have the sneaking suspicion, maybe Matt Jones is a silent listener to Talkin Kentucky. So I thought we just, roll the tape here. I thought we just roll the film and we can let the viewers decide for themselves, we can let our audience and us decide for themselves on if Matt Jones is a silent listener to Talking Kentucky or not, because this is literally these are within a week of each other. This happened at the same time, so it feels like not a coincidence. So I'm going to roll our clip of Corey bringing it up on our show first. So we'll roll that clip here first.
Can I bring up some kind of random sort of? I'm fascinated that you have a common last name for a first name and a common name for a last name. So I was thinking, can we think of any other famous people who have a common last name first name and a common first name last name?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't think we had any. Did we?
Yeah, I don't think we had any.
I couldn't think of any.
But that's beside the point. KSR did think of some, but that's beside the point here. So this is the KSR clip a few days later.
Country singer that I was listening to named Hayes Carl, and I was sitting there thinking about his name. He has a last name for a first name and a first name for a last name. Uh-huh. Hayes Carl.
Yeah.
Can you think of anyone else of any fame that their first name is traditionally a last name?
Good question.
But their last name is traditionally a first name. Hayes Carl is one of those. Can you think of another one?
What he really meant is I was listening to Talkin Kentucky, then I saw Hayes Carl.
Yeah, that's what he really actually meant. Yeah, that was a smooth little transition there. But yeah, no, man, I don't. That seems awful coincidental to just be a coincidence. I think that's I think that's he's a silent listener. I really do think. Let's see, Josh Hart says
this isn't the first time that he's brought up something we've talked about, right? Or they started the holidays after
the holidays. Right? Yeah, and even Drew.
Else I can't think of, but this isn't the first time.
I love Drew, but and Josh brings up a good point here. This will tie in. KSR's actually been good this week because Matt Jones is on vacation. So they're having like all these guest hosts, which actually I don't know if you listen to this one, Josh, but on Monday, I believe it was, Monday they had like the KSR football guys and Ryan Lemond host KSR. So it was like Freddie Maggard, Adam Luckett, Drew Franklin, and Ryan Lemond like hosting KSR that day. And that was a really awesome show. I'm a big football guy, so I actually messaged Freddie and said that I really enjoyed that KSR episode. I'm a kind of a football nerd, and I believe we're gonna try to have Freddie on the next couple weeks here on our show to talk some football, which will be awesome. So he's super nice. Josh says yes, and I swear I heard someone mention your show. Ooh, Caden, did we get a show mentioned on KSR? I haven't listened to all of them this week. I've heard. I've just listened to Mondays, and then I've listened to some of Wednesdays this week, but I haven't listened to today or Tuesday. So,
yeah, Josh, if you find that, send it to us. I'd like to hear that if that's actually what happened.
If that's what happened,
it would be proven what our suspicions are.
Yes, it would be. But yeah, regardless, I think Freddie's going to come on the show in the next couple weeks or so. And he's a super nice guy and super knowledgeable about all things Kentucky football. So, next thing I want to get into is speaking of super nice to Kentucky basketball, West Virginia. If it weren't for the University of West Virginia, Kentucky basketball the past couple of years would have just fallen off the face of the planet. I mean, they've given us Oscar Caden. Now they're giving us this Trey Mitchell transfer. And it's really, I hate to say it, but it's all thanks to Bob Huggins. Bob Huggins ran Oscar off from West Virginia. And then, you don't ever root for anybody to get a DUI, but, because of his continued misbehavior, he resigns as the coach of West Virginia. And that gives all his players the chance to transfer. So now we're going to we're going to get the guy we need in Trey Mitchell to kind of fill a big void in the roster for next year. So.
Yeah, I'd really like to have a word with that West Virginia fan that me and Cody met in Nashville that night, and I'd just like to tell him thank you for being handed all these players on the silver platter. You know, I think I like what they're doing for the university, in the wise words of Connor Kinman.
Wise words of Connor Kinman. Yeah, we like what they're doing for the university. That's exactly right. So,
have you seen anything on this Trey Mitchell kid? I was looking at some highlights.
I haven't watched any highlights yet. I've heard that he's a really good shooter. So he's like a modern basketball player, like a modern big, which is good. But I've also heard, but I've also heard that he turns the ball over a lot. Like I think Kyle Tucker,
West Virginia.
Yeah, that's true. But I did hear Kyle Tucker mentioned actually on when he was on KSR this week that he turns the ball over like 30% of the time it's in his hands or something like that, which is not an ideal stat.
Great. Well, yeah, and I just wonder how Cal is going to use stretch fours, because thinking about players in the past, I feel like I don't know if we've always used them how we should have. They end up just taking long twos or something, like thinking back to Keon Brooks or players like that. So maybe here's hoping that he's actually going to throw up some threes and we can get him open for that.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, and that's the other thing about the roster this year, is Cal's going to kind of be forced to play small. He's going to be forced to play small ball in modern basketball, mainly because we don't have any other options. But that can kind of be a blessing in disguise in a lot of ways, because maybe we're going to be able to play the type of basketball we need to play this year to win.
That Cyril kid is going to be a 2024 center, right? He's not coming this year. As of now, he's not coming this year. So
yeah, supposedly, like as of now, he's not coming this year. But I was going to bring up that too. Like, do you think there's a chance that he could reclassify? And because I've heard, like, I mean, obviously he said he's not going to, but I've heard there's still a slim chance that he might reclassify to this year, which that would make a big difference to have another big man this year.
I've seen the same thing. Like right now he's definitely coming 2024, but there's still that chance. But I'm wondering who is going to play in Canada, because Bradshaw's hurt. So yeah. I guess Ugana is going to be playing like center every game, the entire game. Because who else do we have?
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to have Bradshaw. That's confirmed. Yeah, we got Ugana. That Cyril kid is not coming in. I mean, I guess Trey Mitchell is already actually on his Insta story today. He posted him literally taking the exit for Lexington off the interstate. So apparently he's already in town practicing. So I assume he's going to be there. But we only have those two
to buff him up. Then
Brady will buff him up. Brady will get him right. So I don't think there's any question about that. So. Josh does say he thinks they're trying to reclassify him for this season. I heard that too. I was kind of surprised when I saw that he was going to stay in the 24 class. I maybe that's my own neglect, but I thought we were trying to get him for this year. Like I thought that was the plan all along, was that he was going to reclassify.
It might still happen, but it wasn't looking that way last time I saw it. Josh also says he compared him to Rondo. Compared who to Rondo? Trey Mitchell?
Trey Mitchell? Huh. That's
Trey
like
Mitchell's
comparing
power forward, I think.
It's like comparing Chris Livingston to Devin Booker.
Maybe that's where they're getting that logic. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Watch this Rondo tape, Trey. This is how you're gonna be. You're gonna be a pass first point guard.
Oh, Claude says Sumpta. They're comparing him. Well, that's even weirder, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
Are you playing point guard for us?
Well, I've seen worse decisions at the University of Kentucky basketball program. Josh says,
"I'll be the new meta. Centers playing point guard."
Yeah, that's right. we're gonna set the trend. We are the needle.
Yeah, just like one and done. We're gonna do centers playing point guard. So
yeah,
who knows?
center, not
They
one
don't
and
dribble,
not
it
one
might
and
work.
done. Not one and done. 5-at-1.
Pass full court to the top of the 3-point line. Your center just stands there. That could work.
Josh says, I bet West Virginia hates us. I bet they do too. You think that guy's going to make another apology video?
Dude, it's
for Trey
confirmed
Mitchell?
West Virginia hates us with how that fan treated us that night. He said things I can't repeat on this show, but basically screw Kentucky to sum it all up. So, yeah, they hate us, Josh.
Well, when's the last time we played them? Was it in the Big 12 Challenge?
Yeah,
Was
and we
it like
won.
that time?
So I don't know what they really have to argue with.
Jonathan. Hey, is Shaden Sharp going to play, guys? I didn't get, because Jonathan texted, I've read text from Jonathan on the
Be
show
careful.
before that I probably shouldn't read, but Jonathan did text us, hey, you guys got a lot to talk about tomorrow with Shaden Sharp, and I thought something legit happened. So, Jonathan, has something new happened with Shaden Sharp that we don't know about, or are you just saying in general, the whole Shaden Sharp?
Is he trying the Zion approach or something?
Yeah,
Let us know.
No, Zion's trying the Shaden Sharp approach. I think that's
something tells me there's miscommunication between Zion and the girlfriend. Just my hunch.
Oh, Jonathan says he's just being a jerk. Okay, that makes sense. No, you're just being a realist. You're not being a jerk. You're just being a fan.
Yeah,
in my opinion. It's just my opinion. But yeah, that's right. Did you see that we're speaking of these Big 12 challenges and everything? The ACC SEC challenge is supposed to start next year. So we all thought that it was going to be Kentucky and Duke, or Kentucky
what the
and North
heck?
Carolina, and it's Kentucky and freaking Miami. So I
thought it was confirmed, Duke.
Yeah. I mean, well, just even if it wasn't confirmed, why would you do that? You can put Kentucky, Duke, or Kentucky, North Carolina, and you choose Kentucky, Miami, which, why would you do that? The ratings for Kentucky, Duke, Kentucky, North Carolina are going to be way higher. Everybody's going to be happier with that. It's going to draw more money. When's
the last time? Who knows anything about Miami basketball?
I don't.
Can you name one player that came out of Miami?
No, I don't even know the name of their coach. I just know he looks like Jim Boeheim, but he's not Jim Boeheim. But do you even know their coach?
No.
Oh, you don't even know what their coach looks like?
No.
He looks like Jim Boeheim.
I know what Jim Boeheim looks like, so I guess I do know.
Well, that's
they look like
that's what it looks like. Yeah. So his name always escapes me. Yeah. So yeah, I don't. They have. Loserville would have probably played Vanderbilt.
Can you imagine that game?
That would be the worst game ever.
They'd have to pay people to come watch that game.
Speaking of Vanderbilt,
have free beer or something to get people there.
Oh, they'd have to have more than that. That's like a bare minimum. Yeah, they'd have to have that there. But you guys were trying to think of Vanderbilt's basketball coach name the last show. I know how frustrating it is, when you're in the middle of a show and you're trying to think of something obvious that and then you can't think of it.
I could picture Jerry Stackhouse, but I couldn't think of the name.
Yeah,
it's because they look the same. They look and act the same. So,
well, exactly, just like Jim Boeheim and this and the Miami coach. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I thought it was hilarious when Morgan was like, "Who's at Vanderbilt? Is it Penny Hardaway?" I was like, "Yeah, basically, same thing." I was just sitting there. You're like, "Yeah, I can picture him." And you're just like, I can just picture you sitting there thinking of Jerry Stackhouse, making that face that he always makes with like his hands on his hips, just looking confused, like he just got slapped or something.
Yeah,
All the
that's
time.
exactly.
Yeah, that days. Yeah. Louisville Vanderbilt, that would not be an ideal game to go to. That's for sure. But we'll go ahead and open up our
24
phones.
points. That's what that total of the game would be.
Yeah, that's what they would set the over under at 24. So, which is probably more games than both teams won last year combined.
A lot
But
more, actually. Yeah.
yeah, a lot. You can give us a shout at 502-234-1504. The phone lines are open, and they're never really closed. But that means they're open now.
You're not supposed to tell them that.
Well, it's no secret. We don't hold anything back here on Talking Kentucky. We're wide open. We just we're all out there. So we don't hold anything back. So you can give us a shout on those phone lines, and we'd love to talk to you, Josh, Clyde, whoever wants to call in. Speaking of football recruiting, with Josh and Clyde mentioned that earlier in the comments. Yeah, we're taking players from Georgia. We got this running back coming in from Georgia. It's going to be killer. I think Calipari needs to take some recruiting lessons from Stoops, and maybe some community hospital involvement too, according to Morgan's mother-in-law. So, but we got Josh on the phone.
Stoops has it all figured out, but
yeah, I think so. But we got Josh on the phone. How's it going, man?
It's going good. How you guys doing today?
We're doing awesome, man. Good to be here.
Yeah. I got a bit bad news the other day from my doctor. I'm going to be another 6 weeks for physical therapy and rehab for my shoulder and my back. So wasn't the news I wanted to hear, but yeah, it's out of my control. So,
man, I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that, man. That's I've been rooting for you to get back at it, and praying for you. But I still hope you get to, they get well soon. But man, I'm sorry to hear that.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it a lot. But it's all good. Everything happens for a reason. So maybe it's just my time to slow down from being on the road so much. I don't know, but
that's very true. Everything does happen for a reason. I will second that.
Yeah, I just keep my faith in God and rely on Him to provide, and He is. So it's all good.
That's right. Amen.
Even better for Kentucky fans getting Reeves back this last week, I think it was, and getting that kid from West Virginia. That's going to help so much. And what I was talking about Rondo is somebody on KSR this week was comparing his ball handling skills to Rondo. Like, how Rondo was kind of out of control with his style of play. That's what they're saying. Mitchell is comparable to Rondo. I mean.
That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Well, somebody else that I've heard compared to people like Rondo in just terms of creativity with the ball is Rob Dillingham. I've heard that he can be like, obviously Rondo, like somebody else they compared him to, I think it was Steph Curry. I mean, from like just a creativity, making his own shot, like creating space kind of thing.
By SGA.
He's got some of that. Comparing him to Steph Curry too.
Yeah, did you say Shai Gilgeous there, Caden?
Yeah, that's maybe the first person I think of. I haven't watched too much tape on him, but
yeah, I think Shai. You know who reminds me a lot of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is Casey Wallace. Actually, like just the game slowed down when the ball was in his hand. It just seems so smooth, and I'm excited to have guys like that because, like, I feel like we haven't had anybody like that the past few years that's just been able to like take over a game, like get to the basket, create their own shot. Like I feel like the last guy we had like that is probably like De'Aaron Fox,
Euless was good and driving and distributing. I mean, he was pretty good.
He was.
I think Bob's pretty good. So, I mean, we just haven't had that. And the thing I thought about is this guy's got some time on his legs, and he's, I think he's coming in as like a senior almost. So, that's going to give some ability, and like he'll be almost like a floor general, in my opinion, in that way, because he's got experience, and that's what we really needed. And I think that helped solidify, and it made me breathe easier getting him and of course Reeves back.
Yeah. And I want to talk about Reeves a little bit too. Is having him back, like, how much of it is that he just ran out of options, right? Or how much of it is that, like, he actually wanted to come back to Kentucky? Because, from what I've heard, he sort of didn't have any other choice because he couldn't transfer because he couldn't graduate in time to be a grad transfer to go play somewhere else right away. Like, he had too many credits left to finish up over the summer. So, like, did he really want to come back?
Yeah, I hope he wants to come back just to come back to help us try to win a championship for like unfinished business. But
yeah,
I've heard that rumored so much, especially on KSR. Matt Jones ran that in the ground, and so bad. But speaking of KSR, this week I think I want to say it was Monday morning's show. I don't know how far into the show, but they were talking on the show, and I swear I heard somebody plug Talkin, Kentucky. I heard somebody utter them words out of their mouth, and I was driving, and I was doing an order for DoorDash. I was like, wait a minute, they just talked about Talkin, Kentucky? And I swear it was on Monday's show, and I was like, wow, that's cool. If somebody was on that show was giving you guys a plug or a shout out. So that's pretty neat, because like Matt Jones would never do that.
I agree with that.
He's too about himself. But I don't know. But I swear I heard them say Talkin, Kentucky on Monday's episode.
I'll have to go back and listen, because that would be awesome if that actually happened. Like, I'm gonna have to go back and hunt that now. You said it was at the beginning of the show, though, whether it was like Monday or Tuesday.
I think it was like the first hour, the hour 9 to 10, the first hour of the Matt Jones show, or whatever they want to call it. That's what it might as well be called, because it's all about Matt Jones. He's so rude. But he gets me so mad. He really does. Somebody will call in and he'll just talk over them. He won't even let them get their question out. It's just, he's so rude. He's just a rude person.
Yeah, he can't. That's for sure. No, I don't disagree with that. He's been nice sometimes in person, but yeah, on the show, he can definitely come out like that. So,
but he is very knowledgeable, so you have to take it with a grain of salt.
Right.
Yes, I get frustrated, but I also like listening to the banter with the guys, because they are very knowledgeable, and they do, get a lot of good information. And they can tell stuff when they can, and there's stuff that they can't tell, and they got to protect their sources. It's just like anything else. So
yeah,
I get it. But he just, I don't know, he rubs me the wrong way. And then he gets talking about politics, which you guys keep on your show, which is I'm so grateful for, because I don't. This is the last thing I want to hear about is politics on a pop show talking about Kentucky sports.
That's true. Yeah. There's plenty of politics out there in the world. That's for sure. We get enough of that during the day. So,
yeah, Facebook's killing me. I try to stay off it much anymore. But yeah, we're killing it in recruiting in football. You turn around, and we got that running back, and we're getting this player and that player. They got that running back last week. They compared him to Benny Snell or something. Somebody said, and I'm like, man, if that kid's even remotely like Benny Snell, that kid's going to be awesome. I think he's coming in next year. I don't think he's coming in this year. But we got that kid from Vanderbilt, Cutter Bowley. Our football program is killing it. And
yes,
Calipari's just, he doesn't care, I guess. I don't know. But KSR, they think that Calipari is putting everything on this group of kids this year, and if he doesn't win, they think that he's just going to say, you know what, I just can't do it no more. I'm out.
Yeah. No, Caden, what do you think about that? Like, because I think there is a distinct possibility that this could be Cal's last year. But what do you think, Caden?
Yeah, I've kind of been thinking that for the past year or two as well, like with the whole Wagner coming in and everything, and just how the trajectory of the program has been. So I can see, and that's another reason maybe that Cyril kid would come in this year too. Now that I think about it, how do you pronounce his name? Is it Cyril or Cyril? I don't know.
That's a good question.
But yeah, that could be another motivating factor for him to come early.
Well, and people have said that Cal's not going after a lot of people in the 2024 class, but I think part of that is like the 2024 class, there's not a lot of great talent in it. The 2025 class is like super loaded, and like apparently a lot of those guys are probably going to end up reclassifying the 2024. So that could be, and we've already gone after some guys in the 2025 class, so that could be part of it too. So that it could, we maybe we shouldn't read as much into it as we are. We just kind of have to wait and see. But
that's what Matt Jones and them are. That's how they're reading it, because they don't have any talent lined up for next year.
Yeah.
So they're thinking Calipari to join all in on this squad that's coming up. And I mean, honestly, we have the talent. There's no reason we can't win the national title. I mean, this crew coming in is just as talented, I think, minus the big man, of the the national title team when Davis played. I mean, they got some good kids. I mean, Reed Shepard and Wagner and they just got so many good players. And if Calipari pulls it off, he's going to look like a genius.
At first, I thought you were talking about football there. I thought you were saying there's no reason we can't win the national title in football. I was like, well, I can think of a couple of reasons. But, yeah, basketball, you're right.
I would love – I always say it would be awesome to go undefeated, but they would burn like to the ground. It wouldn't be just couches. I mean, they'd probably burn Kroger Field down to the ground. But
they would. Can you imagine?
It would be so awesome if they did that.
Well, even just going to the playoff is a distinct possibility in the next couple of years, because they're expanding the playoff to 12 teams, of course, and that's a legit possibility for us. I mean, you take the Citrus Bowl year in 2018 when we played Penn State, we probably would have been in the playoff that year. We would have been on the bubble. It would have been either us or Penn State. So, yeah.
Is that going to affect this year or the next year?
That's next year. That doesn't start this year. Okay. So it'll start when Texas and Oklahoma join the league.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think you asked about Leary last episode. That's another thing. When I was listening back to the show, I thought Josh asked about if Devin Leary was going to be here more than 1 year, and at first I thought he said Larry, and I was thinking, who the hell is Larry? It sounded like Josh said, what about Larry? How long is Larry going to be here? I was thinking, Larry who?
Yeah, I think I was confused too, and I said, what? And Morgan's like, oh, Leary, yeah. So Morgan knew what he was talking about, but.
Yeah, but Leary is definitely just going to be here next year, and then it'll either be Cutter Boley or somebody. We'll probably get somebody transfer portal for the following year, I would think.
Surely it's going to be Cutter Boley. They recruited the kid. They put a lot of time into him. I wouldn't think it would be anybody else but him next year. And him coming in this year, he won't get to play, will he? Will he even get to participate in practices? How does that work? I wonder.
If he comes in this year?
No. Will he be able to participate in practices and be at the games this year, even though he can't play?
Oh, no, I wouldn't think that. No, I would say, I don't know for sure, but I would think no, they probably couldn't. No, not until he's actually on the team. I would think.
Know how they do that with football.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like all these practice. Well, I guess Kentucky basketball started practicing for Canada, which whatever team we're gonna be able to send up there. But it's crazy how all these practice rules work. Like you can only practice on these times. Like the NCAA is so strict across the board in all sports about like.
Yeah, but you can graduate and transfer wherever and how many times you want.
Yeah, I know. They're strict about really stupid things like practicing, which is a good thing. But
or Bruce Pearl barbecues.
Yeah, well, this is what I expect with the games with these foreign teams. A month or so. I'm not going to put too much stock into them. If we lose, we lose. We win, we win. I'm not going to get overhyped like we did when we went to where was it? And everybody's like, "Oh, we're going to win the national title." So I'm not putting a lot of stock into these games, you know.
Yeah.
And they're going to be sloppy. They're going to be raw. There's a lot of good talent, but they're just not going to be ready to go out and compete against foreign teams, I guess. But I mean, I don't know. I mean,
well, Caden, I think these teams that we're about to play in Canada, I mean, they're going to be better than the teams we played in the Bahamas. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
I don't like this argument of we're not. They're McDonald's All-Americans and they're great basketball players, and there's no reason why we can't win games early on. So, not saying I'm gonna just give up on the season if we lose one game, but my expectations are high, even if Cal's gonna say, "Oh, just give us time." No, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, they're young. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, but regardless, we get to watch basketball here pretty soon. But you got anything else, Josh, before we let you go?
Oh yeah, the Reds are really good.
Yeah, the Reds are killing it. Yeah,
they took 2 out of 3 at Baltimore, and they were within a run of basically sweeping the Braves. They lost by a run more on Saturday, and then they lost by a run on Sunday. So Friday,
Ellie De La Cruz, that Ellie De La Cruz guy, like completely changed the game. So
yeah, they said they're comparing him to like Eric Davis with the hype of, and they said that Cincinnati hacked out for the stadium Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the Atlanta game. They actually sold out for the first time in a long, long time. And they said the tickets were going up for like $200 and $300 a piece. So, I mean, if I had tickets, I would have been selling them. But
yeah, that's right. No doubt.
No, I mean, compared to a couple of weeks ago, you and Kate and myself, we were like, where are we at on basketball? Football's killing it, but where are we at basketball?
Right.
And I think, the last couple, 3 or 4 days, getting this kid from in again and getting Reeves back, and now this other kid's coming maybe. I mean, it finally took a little bit of weight off of our program's shoulders, I guess, and everybody's like, okay, we can be happy again. So
absolutely
positive.
Game changer for sure. No, I completely agree with that. Well, thanks for calling in as always, Josh. We really appreciate it, and we hope you get better soon, get back on your feet soon.
I appreciate it, guys. Go Cats.
All right, go Cats. Speaking of Devin Leary, Caden, they just did this thing. It's the Manning Passing Academy. It's down in Thibodaux, Louisiana, which is down like way south where Nicholls State University is, and it's like the Mannings, Eli, Peyton, and then their dad, that put on this passing academy, like bring in a bunch of college quarterbacks, and apparently Devin Leary was like the big standout. He was like the story of the camp. So I think, and I'm excited to talk to Freddie about all this when he comes on. But apparently, like Devin Leary is like in some ways better quarterback than Will Levis. Like Will was good. He can't throw it as deep as Will Levis. Will was good at throwing the deep ball, but when you think about it, how many of those did he actually connect on, for the season? Not many. I mean, kind of one hand.
Right?
Well, that too. But, like, Devin Leary's good at, like, throwing the short game. So what I've heard and what I've heard people say is Devin Leary is going to be a better fit in Liam Cohen's offense than even Will Levis was, which is pretty exciting. So,
correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't the best quality in a quarterback is to make quick, confident, successful decisions.
I think that's a safe assumption.
Like beyond
I don't
anything,
think
beyond body type, beyond how hard or how fast they can throw, how far they can throw. Don't you want your quarterback, like your point guard, to be safe with the ball and make the correct passes at the right time? So can he do that?
I would think that makes sense. Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope so. I think that's a good quality to have in a quarterback. I don't think you have to be a football genius to figure that out.
I'm not.
So
I'm just throwing that idea out there.
Just throwing that out there. It's just your opinion. Has the Canadian smoke made its way down to Hanson yet?
Not that I know of, no. You said
it's been in Lexington.
Lexington, right?
Yes, I've been over at Bryan Station teaching a little bit, teaching band camp, and noticed out there definitely yesterday and today. It smelled like a campfire outside, like you could literally smell it. And then in Frankfort, it's almost like it smells like burnt rubber almost, like smells really bad. And
what you're saying is if you got a picture of that background right there at this moment, you wouldn't be able to see the library or anything.
Yeah, this is not live. No, I was driving downtown yesterday. Like I was driving into downtown. And usually you can see the skyline. You can see these guys. You can see the big blue Fifth Third Bank building. You can see the Central Bank building and stuff. Couldn't see it. Couldn't make it out because it was so thick. And in the morning when I was driving to Lexington, I saw like what I thought was fog. Over all the horse farms and stuff. And I thought it was just pretty. And then I figured out it was a Canadian smoke. So kind of took away the aesthetic a little bit there. But
so you're saying you didn't see it. You didn't see him.
No, didn't see him. Like Cal, couldn't see him. Cal probably actually can't see a lot of things right now because of the smoke. And speaking of Lexington though, and hopefully this fall goes away before then, I'm gonna run this. I'm gonna run the Bluegrass 10,000 next Tuesday on the 4th of July. Haven't run it in a couple of years because I haven't been in town, but this year I am. So the whole 6.21 miles. Caden, I'm gonna try to run as fast as I can. Last time I did it, I did it in 45 minutes and 53 seconds. Don't know if we'll beat that this time. I was in pretty good shape back then. I'm not in as good a shape as I was back then right now, but we're gonna make a go at it regardless.
Yeah, I wish I could join you on that. I definitely wouldn't run it in 45 minutes right now. I think that might be a little too far for me at this moment, but maybe a long-term goal. It's something I could do with you. Maybe not this year, but next year after.
We'll get into it. Yeah. But hopefully, in any case, I think it would be difficult to do with the Canadian smog. I think that would make it even harder. So hopefully it goes away by then. Did you see this NASA Mars simulation that's going on right now?
No.
I don't know too many details about it, but basically they're locking these people in, and we're getting a Clyde call right now, but we'll see. Maybe we'll see what Clyde thinks about it. We can get Clyde's opinion on this too as he calls in. What's up, Clyde?
Not much, just at the ballpark. So much is going on.
Well, I'd imagine so out there. I want to get your opinion on this. As you asked one time, what do I have for you when you called in? I actually got something for you this time. So,
I bet.
So there's this Mars simulation that NASA is doing. So basically, all these people they locked all these people in a big building or like space. It's not even a building. It's just like a chamber. It's like apparently 1,700 square feet that's supposed to simulate life on Mars. And they have to stay in there for a whole year. They can't leave. And when they come out, they're going to evaluate their like physical and mental condition. I guess my question is, would you do that ever? If somebody paid you a lot of money, would that be something you consider doing, or would you pass on that?
I have no interest in living any time and space at all. I'm good. I'm content on staying on planet Earth. I have no interest to be that Damon where he was on that planet when he was on Mars for years and years and years. Y'all probably know what movie I'm talking about.
I don't know that. I'm bad with movies. Caden, you know what movie he's talking about? Yeah, no, we don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm content on staying on Earth, and I have no interest in living in space or anything for a year because, hell, you never know what you might run up into on Mars. Shit, there might be some aliens or shit that you're like, well,
yeah, there might be.
Hey, we got aliens on Earth right now, don't we? So,
yeah, that's right.
Take this fight. You have to have some balls to do all that, and
you do.
I think I'm good.
Well, when the whole submarine thing happened, which is very sad, by the way. And any kind of tragedy like that we've had in space too. I've kind of developed this rule, at least for myself, my own life, that I'll abide by. If I, a human, can't breathe where these people are going, I probably don't belong there. So if I can't live without some kind of machine or like thing or oxygen in some of the place, it probably means I shouldn't be there in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that billionaire was an idiot to let all the people go in the submarine because if I think the whole situation was stupid. I hate that people died, but I think the whole thing was just dumb. Like, I really do. Like, yes,
that's what's tough about it.
That they all had to lose their lives. But what an idiot situation that was. That was a stupid decision.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I agree with that. It is sad, but yeah, it was a stupid decision in the first place. But what do you feel? I know you were a big. What was that? Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna change topics to Kentucky basketball. I know you were a big proponent of this Santo. Well, first of all, how do you say his name? Do you know that you're a big fan of him? How do you pronounce his name?
Santo
Surreal. Okay, so I'm gonna try to remember that. So, what are you excited about that kid coming in?
I've heard a lot of good talks about him. I mean, he's just a massive dude. Like, good Lord.
Yeah.
He makes Cal look like a little toddler. Like,
yeah.
It's crazy how big he is. And I was like, we got to get this kid. And we got him. But we don't got him until next season, which kind of sucks because we do need an extra big. I mean, yeah, we got Trey Mitchell. Yeah, we have
you. Tell us you're running a lot more next year.
Yes, we have Aaron Bradshaw. But I hope they might work out a way where he can reclassify. I don't know. They said around August might be where he can, but according to what Jack Pilgrim was saying, he was saying like he so I mean that's so I guess we'll see him next season, I guess, but we do have our baby Shaq, so we should just be happy about it anyways.
Yeah. No, I think the roster is shaped up. So let's assume this is a question I was gonna ask Josh too, but and Caden, let's assume our roster is complete for this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like just for sake of argument, do you think that we can win a national title with the roster that we currently have?
Absolutely.
They're played the correct way. Yes.
So much talent. We have so much talent on this team, and this is the type of team that you need to win a national championship. And everybody on our team is an athletic freak. So and we have some experience now. And Trey Mitchell coming in, he's going to help Ugo and Aaron Brown.
Claude's breaking up a little bit.
Well, we also we all thought hell was going to break loose. And all of a sudden, it's just flip the switch. And, it's just been fun, hearing all these guys come in. And then Santo, which we wasn't expecting Santo to even commit right now. Like, I wasn't expecting it. But it just randomly came out of the bloom, like,
yeah,
Santos Lorenzo Wildcat. And I'm just like, well, let's go. And but I like our team. We have a bunch of good shooters on our team. Hopefully, this should be Cal's best shooting team.
I hope
we have
so.
Reeves, Shepard, Dillingham, and I think Wagner, he's a good shooter too, I believe. So,
well, and even the Trey Mitchell kid's supposed to be a good shooter too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Trey. Yeah, he's a solid kid. I mean, he's going to be the player like our team, and we're just going to have to roll with it regardless.
That's right. Well, we can only be excited.
We have no other choice.
Well, that's very true. That's very true. Well, we got anything else for us before we let you go?
Yeah, one more thing. I'm excited for football, and I'm ready for football to come, so we can all get ready to go to Croker Field and go crazy, because I'm going to do that the first, and I'm going to try to get my Ball State tickets the week before the game. But I'm going to be there. I'm going to try to be there. I'm going to try.
Yeah, I'm so excited for football. I wish it could start next week. Like I'm really excited for it. And I'm excited that Freddie Maggard's gonna come on our show here soon, and I'm excited to get his take on some more specific football things, because man, I can't wait.
Monday?
Sorry, what's that?
Drew, and Adam Luckett did a all football KSR show on Monday, and
that's right.
Was on there. Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, I listened to that whole one. I really enjoyed that. It got me hyped for football season for sure.
Oh yeah, you get that, and then when fall comes, it's football time anyways.
That's right. Well, man, go Cats! Thanks.
I'm gonna get out of here, and y'all continue to do your thing, and keep on working, and go Cats!
Go Cats, man! Thanks for calling in.
Absolutely.
Speaking of somebody else that's going to come on our show, Caden, thinking of Maggie Davis. And I just realized that our show is like the same time as hers is, because her BBN Tonight comes on, I think it's every night, but it's like definitely Thursdays at like 7:00. So
she can reschedule.
Yeah, she can reschedule. It's fine. They can work around it. Just like Corey Hunt, he can. If Luke has a concert, just tell him to move the concert. He's got to come on Talkin Kentucky.
Really? Yeah.
Luke went on Joe Rogan, but Corey's going to come on Talkin Kentucky. So it just
we'll even give you a hat. Just reschedule. We'll give you a hat.
Yep. Yeah, we can maybe even two. So, well, Claude knows when Maggie's show comes on. Comes on at 7:30. Claude says yes. Well, Caden, can you think anything else? We haven't hit any big news. Well, you said Jay Lucas is now been promoted to like associate head coach of Duke.
Yeah, I saw head coach, and I was like, wait just a second, in front of John Shire, but no, it was associate head coach. So I guess that means he's one of the assistants now, right?
I think
not
so.
Just the recruiting guy or whatever he was.
This assistant to the regional manager.
Yeah, that's what it kind of sounded like. But he got upgraded.
Yeah.
So,
well, we're probably gonna do this next time. But if you guys ever just get on Zillow for fun and look at prices of houses, especially in Lexington, because it's it's just comical how expensive houses are now. We're going to do a little segment probably next time of Caden putting up pictures of houses up on the screen, and we have to guess how much they are. And so if you want to do some show prep for next time, just go look at some houses on Zillow and just get your skills up on pricing houses. So
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Coleman. I got some pretty mind blowing ones that'll make you really impressed. But
before we to wrap up the show here, why don't we do one just to practice? Why don't we just do one?
Okay.
If you got them ready to go, that way we can just get a taste of how this is going to be.
I'll leave good ones for next week, but I'll show
the
first one I was going to show.
That's what we do here. We do brackets, we do tiers, and we price houses. So
you look at this house, you think, all right, that's a pretty, mediocre. Like, I'm not gonna say mediocre. It's a nice house, but but it's average like income, kind of just. Yeah, it's not nothing crazy. It's not like you're LeBron James living there, right? But you do see the palm trees, so it does show you that it's probably in a pretty wealthy area. So, what would you guess this house is? By the way, it is in Sarasota, Florida. I don't know if that's kind of giving you
Sarasota, Florida. Since it's in Sarasota, Florida, so I assume that if you play in the Sarasota Symphony, you wouldn't be able to afford this house, probably.
No, if you play in the Sarasota Symphony, you probably can't live in Sarasota.
You really can't live.
It was my guess.
Okay, Josh has a guess here already. He says 450,000. And since it's in Sarasota, Florida, I'm gonna go. If I set the over under, actually Josh's guess there is a good over under. I'm gonna go over that. So I'm probably gonna go. I feel like this is The Price is Right or something. I'm gonna go 600,000. In fact, I'm gonna
final.
Yeah, I'm gonna go actually 625. I'll go 625, Bob.
Yeah, Clyde says it's a nice home. It's a very nice home.
Yeah.
But not as nice as this price makes it seem.
Yes.
$685,000.
65. Okay. Well, I was close. But wow, I thought it'd be over if anything. But okay. Well, what's the estimated average payment there? 4,300.
Only 4,300 a month. So
that's only double my pay check every month there. So yeah, I can swing that.
The descriptions crack me up too. Rarely available Florida pool home. Rarely available.
Rarely available.
$685,000 because it's rarely available.
Yeah, well, wonder why.
Meticulously maintained split floor plan.
Meticulously maintained. That's a interesting choice of words there. Well,
yeah. If any of our viewers want to live in Sarasota, Florida, I guess kind of close to the beach. It's only
I can buy that one. So. 3 beds, 2 baths. Okay,
2,200 square feet. That's a good amount.
It's bigger than the Mars. It's bigger than the NASA Mars exhibit. So,
speaking of that, the only way, Coleman, I would do that. Not the house. I would never buy this house. But the only way that I would do the Mars thing is if I knew for like the rest of eternity on Earth, my family would be taken care of financially. It's probably the only way I would ever do something like that. To answer your question from earlier.
Well, you could buy that house then. Yeah.
Josh Hart says 10 million. He would do the Mars thing. I
don't know.
For me, it might need to be more than that.
Yeah, it might need to be more. It sounds crazy, but it might need to be more than that. I mean, that's only one John Calipari salary year. Like, so it's probably got to be more than that. For him, that's just another year. So if Cal were to do it, you'd have to think how much you have to pay him.
$1 billion. Yeah.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's just a small taste of the housing market. So I got way better ones to come. But.
Well, maybe I'll even pull some out of the bullpen for next week. So it's been a good show. And one thing left to do, got to name the episode. It was Reeves Almighty last week, like Bruce Almighty or Evan Almighty, which are decent movies. We talked hugging, handshakes.
2K.
2K, that's a good one. Talked My Player. Miami. Definitely talk to Miami. Talk Jim Boeheim. Got any suggestions in the comments for a show name? We'll always take those, no doubt. Not going to do Talking Shade and Sharp.
Talking Sumpto.
Talking Sumpto. That could be one. Talking Sumpto Almighty. Rondo. Talking KSR.
I say talking 2K or talking Sumpto.
Talking Relief. That's not bad. That is not bad. Talking Trey Mitchell.
Talking WVU.
Yeah, talking what it's got to be something West Virginia, because I mean I think we owe some thanks to West Virginia for basically being a basketball feeder program for us. So talking talking Mountaineers, talking West Virginia, talking Take Me Home Country Roads.
You could close the episode with that song, actually, if it wasn't copyright.
Yeah, we could. If it wasn't copyright, yeah, I would definitely put that on there. So some version of West Virginia. So what are you thinking? You thinking more of a WVU guy, you a Mountaineers guy?
Talking Mountaineers, let's do it.
Talking Mountaineers. Okay. I like it. I was gonna say talking Huggins. Talking Give Me a Huggins. It is National Hug Day. So talking taking West Virginia players, Josh says. Well, guys, thanks for listening to us. As always, we really appreciate it. And if you aren't already, be sure to check us out on Patreon. And you can be a supporter on there. We'll give you a shout out on the episode, and you can get some cool gear in return for that. A sticker and a coffee mug and things like that, in addition to the shout out. And you will be supporting us too if you like what we do. And go ahead and rate us on Spotify. That really helps us out if you do that. Go on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, either one, and just give us a rating. And subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't already done that. That helps us out. Give us maybe a like and a follow on there. Just any kind of little thing you can do that really helps us out. And kind of reaction or rating like that really helps. So, well, thanks as always, guys. It's been episode number 58, Talking Mountaineers. And we owe them a lot of thanks for supplying Kentucky basketball's needs the past few years.
Yeah. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah. Thanks, Bob. Some Bobs we like more than others. Yeah. On this show. For Coleman Scott and for Caden Holmes and for Houses in Sarasota, Florida, this has been Talking Kentucky.
We cannot afford.
That's right. And we'll never be able to afford, no matter how many Patreon subscribers we get. Hey, we'll see you all next week. We'll price some more houses. Go Cats. See you next Thursday.